You're listening to Trailblazers.fm, an interview-styled podcast that delves deep into bold conversations with successful Black entrepreneurs and leaders. Join us weekly to learn actionable strategies, valuable tactics, and innovative tools that you can put to use immediately on your journey to blazing your trail. And now, here's your host, my husband, Stephen A. Hart.
Blazer Nation, good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us today. For those of you who do not know me, I am Stephen A. Hart. I'm the host of Trailblazers.fm. If this is your first time jumping into one of our live streams or live broadcasts, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. You can learn more about Trailblazers.fm over at StephenAHart.com. Now, through Trailblazers.fm, this started as a podcast nearly 6 years ago, and I've been blessed to have over 200 plus conversations at this point with bold, brilliant Black professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And at the time we are recording this live broadcast, we're right at the close of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And over the course of this month, I had made a commitment, fulfilled my commitment, and partnered with our friends, Camille, Lauren, and Caitlin, who are behind the amazing movement that is Share the Mic in Cyber. And, I was looking at a post from Camille, and I'll just pull it up real quick here. A couple nights ago, she shared that on October 22nd, which was last Friday, Share the Mic in Cyber reached individuals in 20 countries. On Twitter alone, over 9 million individuals interacted, whether shared, liked, commented on Share the Mic in Cyber posts, while almost 23 million people saw Share the Mic in Cyber content. Just amazing. Big ups to Camille and Lauren and Caitlin. Appreciate all you're doing. If you are unaware of what Share the Mic in Cyber is about, just check out this clip from an interview we did together. What is Share the Mic in Cyber?
Share the Mic in Cyber at its core is an online movement that is dedicated to combating, dismantling systemic racism in cybersecurity, privacy, tech, etc. On the day of the actual event, we have allies, whether, in the beginning, it was prominent allies from cybersecurity. We were able to leverage our networks and get people, really prominent in the industry to help out. And they share their platform with Black cyber professionals in the space. So whether that's Twitter or LinkedIn, and then the professionals, the practitioners will share their stories, share their work, so that we can highlight their voices on those platforms and really show people these professionals are experts in their field. They are here, they're doing the work, because we really think that shining a light on the middle not only begets real benefits for the pipeline, but also creates hopefully pathways for leadership as well. And then, of course, leading up to the actual event, we have a number of events happening and other just promotion and amplification.
It started out as this one-day thing that we wanted to spark action amongst people, and it has grown to include month-long programming anytime we have it, a scholarship fund, Cyberbase, which is a database of Black cyber talent that's launching in partnership with R Street Institute. We'll launch a fellowship in the future, and it just keeps growing. And so Share the Mic in Cyber, probably at its inception, we would have said it was a social media campaign to raise awareness and promote action, but it truly is a movement because it is so much bigger.
And so that's a short clip from a conversation we did back at the beginning of October. I encourage you to go back and check that out in the archives. But listen, that said, no further delay. I want to introduce you to our featured guest for today. I'm so very excited to be talking with another amazing Black leader and professional and entrepreneur and all the things, and a Jamaican sister. Our guest today is Talya Parker. She's the founder and executive director of the BGiC Foundation, also known as Black Girls in Cyber. She's also a cybersecurity, privacy, and risk management professional with years of advisory, consulting, and industry experience. Join me, Blaze Nation, in welcoming to our stage Talya Parker. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for that introduction.
Absolutely. So happy to have you here. We start every conversation off on Trailblazers from a place of gratitude. So right out the gate, going to ask you, what's an unexpected blessing that you're most grateful for in your life right now?
Oh man, everything. Everything from my family, my beautiful family,
Yes.
to the opportunities that have presented itself, the spaces that I've been able to enter. God has really been good, and I feel truly privileged to live the life that I do. I feel so blessed in all areas, truly.
Yeah. So I, you and I had a brief convo some weeks ago, and you shared that you have Jamaican roots. Were you born and raised in Jamaica, or grew up here?
Oh no, yeah, I was born in the beautiful island of Montego Bay, Jamaica.
That's right.
Yes, and I actually was there for the early part of my childhood years. And I still have very much strong roots still there. Like my grandmother, aunts, uncles, like the majority of my family still in the island. So yeah, very much a Jamaican.
When and I noticed that you ended up attending an HBCU. Bring me forward, right? Why an HBCU?
So I attended Florida A&M University, also
Big
known
ups.
as
Man,
FAMU, the Rattlers Marching 100. I'm sure everyone have heard of us. So, it was really by accident because, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And so when you thought about all the universities, FAMU always popped up as this really rich culture, and you being from Caribbean descent as well, Jamaican, in the islands, you've never really grow up knowing much about the feeling inferior to anything. You've never, because our prime ministers are Black, everybody is Black. So for me, it was different moving to the US and learning about the different cultural differences and the challenges systemically. And so I gravitated towards Florida A&M University because I just wanted to be a part of that rich HBCU culture, learning the Black history and having the whole Black experience.
Yeah. Where do you attend high school in Fort Lauderdale?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale? I was going to ask because I have so many friends that went to Ely.
Oh yeah, that Ely was a nice school too. Yeah, they were a big competitive school for us. Ely, Dillard, Stranahan, but I went to Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
Big up everyone listening in from down south.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, was law, what was your drive? We're from the islands, as we touch on, it's always like push your kids to become lawyer, doctor, whatever. Was that a push or was that a passion?
So, I think it's by default because everyone around you, that those were the path, doctor, lawyer, or teacher. And so I decided to take, I actually went to Florida A&M for pharmacy.
Really?
I did. So in school, I was in high school, I was in all the AP and honor high science classes, so the chemistry, anatomy, and I did extremely well in those courses. But I
Wow.
went to college, and college chemistry felt a whole lot different from high school AP, AP chemistry. So that definitely changed the trajectory. And I started going down this path of trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do? Because pharmacy was it. And so I leaned on business because it seemed like the easy way out. It seemed like, okay, I chose a degree, but it can really go in any space. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I landed there for my bachelor.
Yeah. And so making a jump from HBCU, where did you land initially?
Yeah, so you mean career wise, or
Yeah, career wise.
funny enough, I went and did study abroad. So I started going down the supply chain management path,
Oh,
and study abroad in Sydney, Australia, Shanghai, China, every year. And then I went on to get my master's in international business. And then later on, decided to get my master's in cybersecurity. So that was really like, my path. I didn't go to work immediately after graduating from my undergraduate. I decided to do some study abroad programs and work abroad.
is that something you'd recommend to others?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're in a different time.
Yeah.
So, definitely, take all the safety precautions there. But for me, that experience, it's shaped me, my perspective. I'm more open. The way you interact with people, being able to just throw yourself into a different culture and adapt to their way of living and the way that they do things, where definitely it builds character. And it was a certain set of skill sets that I built having those types of experiences and just learning to be more independent.
Absolutely. Without question. I often share here in a different capacity, but did a straight up business management degree and found it very challenging to figure out my placing. And
Yeah.
so coming out of college, Talia, I probably had a dozen jobs in the first 3 years, was just not able to anchor myself. So I did everything from sell life insurance door to door to doing collections to selling every known item there you can think of.
Yeah.
And then, anchored myself finally in the financial world for many years. But at this point in my career journey, I'm able to, to anchor to many of those skills that I developed early on
Yeah.
that, has helped me quite a bit now. And I love that. So let's talk about, tell us a little bit about, well, let's start here. Tell us what is Black Girls in Cyber and what sparked the idea for creating this platform.
So Black Girls in Cyber is a nonprofit organization that I created. And the goal is to create industry awareness and diversity for Black women who would like to enter cybersecurity, privacy, or entry-level STEM careers. So that's really what it is. What sparked that is that, so 2020, the entire world shut down, and I have been very fortunate to work at some really great companies. I did the Big Four consulting at Deloitte for a couple of years, and I worked for Nike. So I really checked the boxes on a lot of those like goals and experiences. And in each experience, I always felt so isolated. The only Black woman. And at first, it didn't bother me. It was like, yes, I made it here. But after, a while, you're like, why am I the only one here? Like, I know so many brilliant Black women. And so I wanted to do something about it. So I started using my platform on Facebook to do Facebook Live. And I started a Black Girls in Cyber series where I invited 4 other prominent women who are doing amazing things across security, privacy, and STEM. And they shared their journey. And, it was amazing to see these beautiful Black women who took non-traditional path and are doing excellent and they're excelling in the space. And so that really gravitated a lot of attention. And I realized immediately that there was a need.
I love it. So, what's driving you right now, right? Like right at this present moment in time, what's driving the work that you're doing in Black Girls in Cyber?
Well, so initially when I was doing the Black Girls in Cyber series, I signed up for my maybe second share the mic in cyber opportunity. And my ally, Philip, who is the CEO of GCA, he said to me, this needs to be a nonprofit organization. And I was like, that sounds like too much work. And he was like, you are already doing the work. He was like, but if you do this, take this route, you can get a lot of financial support to drive all the programming that you're trying to do. And so I started doing that, I went through the process, registered to become, 501c3. And it's because of Share the Mic and my ally. And they became our first partner to launch, our programming. And
look at the impacts. Oh my gosh.
We started getting donations and support before we even became officially 501c3 because people believed in the mission. And so that was really the fuel behind, wow, people are willing to put their dollars behind this to support the programming. And we launched our inaugural cohort, which consists of 13 women who are, half of them are in completely different fields in transitioning into cybersecurity. And the other half, they're probably like at the graduate or bachelorate level, studying some kind of information systems and things like that. And I met with every single one of these women. We interviewed them and just learning their journey and why they want to enter this field. And the fact that, Black girls in cyber had impact them, or it had that reach to get them to considering to the point where now they're pursuing a path, that was very impactful for me. It showed that we were doing the right things, all the right things. And so in one success story, I always share Akila Tunsil. She reached out to me and asked for mentorship, and she really was the, kind of like the poster child for everything that came with the cohort later on. Akila worked as a nurse practitioner for 14 years. 14 years. And the pandemic definitely made her, she took a hit, with it as an essential worker. And so she wanted change and a little bit more flexibility, doing work that was just as equally important. And so within less than a year, she completed a boot camp and got her CompTIA Security Plus certification. I introduced her to everyone in my network that I could. She basically checked the boxes on all the advice that I provided her, and in less than a year, transitioned to become a cybersecurity analyst at a large consulting firm.
Wow, look at that. So listen, I just want to share for those who are not in the world of cyber today, right? Let's talk about the importance of not only Black people, Black women in cybersecurity. I know from being employed in cybersecurity that Black women are a unicorn in this space, right? I've said it time and time again, and some people get annoyed when I say that, but I truly mean that when I say it, right? There just is not enough Black people and definitely not enough Black women in this space. Can you speak to that problem? And I know you had some metrics, and I don't want to misquote, but could you speak to kind of what the percentages are?
I believe it was like one of three. I don't have it in front of me. So
no worries.
Yeah. But just personally speaking, the issue, so I think it's twofold. A lot will hear, lack of education, lack of access, the whole socioeconomic aspect. And I think, that does play a role as well, especially in a field where getting the credentials and all of that is very expensive. It really is. But I also know a lot of Black folks within my small circle alone that are credentialed, they're brilliant, they're smart, they're educated, but we lack the opportunity and the sponsorship. And so what you're finding is that even after organizations are able to recruit Black women or other women of color or minorities in general, there is an inclusivity issue that is needed in order to retain. So when you recruit, how are you creating opportunities for minorities within your team or org to grow? And what does sponsorship look like for them? And I think that's the biggest struggle is kind of fighting to be seen. And most times it's like, okay, they check the box and you're here. So, okay, let it be. But creating space for them to be heard, for different perspectives to be shared, I think is one of the issues that we face with Black women being able to be successful and to grow in their careers within this field. And of course, there is the socioeconomic status of it as well.
Mhm.
I think we need to do more with going into the more undeserving communities that lack certain resources in school and at home. We need to do that about it. And when we think about equality, it needs to be similar for everyone needs to have access, whether it's Wi-Fi, internet. The COVID showed us that. If we didn't think there was an issue before, COVID really separated the haves from the have-nots,
Mhm.
from medical and technical. When schools shut down, you see who are suffering as a result of
Mhm.
this. And so that means there is a problem. And so a lot of those things factor into what the future of this field will look like as well.
Yeah. Um, as you're building this platform, I love to ask leaders and entrepreneurs, who do you trust to give you objective feedback as you're working through the challenges of building a platform? Because you come from a background, that as a Jamaican, we learn to hustle, right? So there's DNA in building, but you didn't necessarily go through, training to run a business. So who is it that you're trusting to kind of give you that objective feedback as you're building?
Yeah, no. So I am really big. I used to read. I don't read as much anymore. I do audibles now.
Yes, I'm big on
So
audiobooks too.
yes, because I'm always on the go. So audibles work really well for me now. So I've downloaded a lot of Audible books on running a nonprofit. So there's the research that I'm doing for myself on the back end. I have started doing strategic partnerships with other nonprofit organizations with a similar mission in this space, like Girls Security or Women in Cybersecurity. I have met with these women, kind of talked to them. What were the pitfalls? What are some things to avoid? What were your lessons learned? And so that's one approach that I take. But I would say my trust is mostly stems from the people who are working with me every day. So I have a board, and I really, rely on them because they also have it's personal for them too. The Black women who are committed on the ground working, they're like the operational board. And oh, thank you. Oh, these comments are so great. Thank you so much. So these women, they're in the trenches with me. Like we are literally working 2 full-time jobs. And this one is a really heavy lift, from all the administrative, operational stuff to the marketing, getting the word out that this even exists,
Yeah.
and then really running the program. And we are attracting a lot of organizations, but we're also being strategic about it.
Yeah.
Because we want to stay true to what our mission is. We don't
Yeah.
want to get gobbled up into someone else's mission. So it was
Mm.
like, really trying to make sure the heart of why this started continues to just, go through. So yeah, definitely, I trust the people I work with, and I trust the partnerships that are being made.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. One of the things that, as a brand strategist, one of the things that I teach professionals to do is to give thought to what success looks like 3 to 5 to 10 years out, so that you can then put those blinders on and focus in on what is priority 1, 2, and 3, right? Have you given thought to what success looks like down the road?
Yes. So that's so funny. And it's almost scary to have that dream. And
Yeah.
5 years later, like, wow, because we've already been able to accomplish so much in such a short period of time. Like immediate success to me would be the 13 women who are currently in our cohort. I want them to find jobs. I want them to have jobs waiting for them. I want them to learn, get the skills, feel empowered and supported, and to be employed at least within 6 months to a year from completing the program. in 5 years, I would like that to scale, that number to increase drastically. I would like, maybe we can do 100,000, that's the scale 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Whether it's some kind of academy that develops from there where, we're certified, we're a non-traditional path to enter these fields, right? Because the thing is, these fields are changing. Even on the side of privacy, privacy used to be thought of as a legal space. I am a privacy engineer at Google, and so my skills from the security side, I have to use both of them in this role, right? Because of the type of reviews that we have and the things you may come across. So I think it's very important for us to stay up to date on how the path, the roles are changing and evolving, so that we can continue to modify our curriculum to build the talent that is in demand in the market. So that is definitely the vision. That's the goal.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And put a number on it. Put a number on it. Put a date on it. And it's scary when you do it.
It is.
But that creates the destination to which we can focus on, right? Just like we turn on our navigation to get from point A to point B. I firmly believe in creating, placing your stake down and saying, hey, this is where I'm going to get to. And if it takes longer to get there, so be it. But, as the obstacles arise, you can always change directions, but you're still heading towards that destination.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Somebody took the words right out of my mouth and said, thank you. You're amazing. How can we help as a Blazer Nation? How can we get involved?
Yes. Well, first, visit the website. We just launched our new website, blackgirlsincyber.com, and, get familiar with our programming, but also volunteer, right? With volunteer your time there's so much work to be done on the administrative side or just mentorship to these women. And you can email me at partnerships at blackgirlsincyber.com. That's partnerships with an S, at blackgirlsincyber.com. And you can also subscribe to our emailing list to stay up to date as well. We're on all social media platforms. So on LinkedIn, you'll find us there. Facebook, all of it, Black Girls in Cyber. Instagram, Twitter, we're all there. So definitely just follow us, stay up to date. You can message me on LinkedIn if you find me on LinkedIn. Just send me a message saying that you would like to partner or you would like to volunteer, and I'll definitely help provide the resources. So, thank you.
You got fans over on LinkedIn already, girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone is so sweet. Thank you guys so much.
Listen, before I let you go, 2 last questions. Are there any books that you've read or you're reading or listened to? I'm a big audio guy as well, that you think our listeners should probably add to their queue.
There is a couple. One right now that I am reading, I believe it's called The Minimalist. Let me get the exact title. And I've started reading that because I've really been trying to find ways to declutter my life, whether that's on the job, in my home. I really try to just declutter. I feel like simplicity is the way of life, and I really try to practice that. A lot of that comes from saying no, no to different things, to declutter. If it's not in alignment, I just deprioritize, right? So I think reading through that book has helped me a ton. And I think the other one is like The Quiet, it's called Quiet, The Power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking. Because believe it or not, most people do not know I am introverted. The way I show up, people think I'm very extroverted, but I'm actually very much introverted. And I have had to learn how to tap into the power of being an introvert and what that means. How to show up even when it seems like everyone is speaking louder than me, or the world is louder or moving, faster than me. And so I've been able to use that quiet power to show up in a very powerful and meaningful way.
Listen, right before we got on, Gerald, I see your comment. I was just telling Talya that you two need to connect. Gerald is the person I'd mentioned to you who's running Mission Fulfilled 2030, and so I need the two of you to connect. I'll make sure I sync that up. But happy that you're here. Hope that the two of you will make some good things happen. Listen, last question, I'll let you go. What's one action that or Blaze Nation community coming away from this conversation? What's one action they should take this week that's going to help them to blaze their trail
in their personal lives?
Yeah,
I would say write out what it is that you want to accomplish this week that will help you accomplish a goal in a year, or even this year, because you still have time. And then just do it. It's something about writing it down and say it out loud. Write it down, say it out, tell somebody. I know sometimes they say, don't tell everybody your dreams. No, say your dreams, say it out loud, because it holds you accountable. Once you put it out there, it's like a timer starts going. So write out whatever it is that you want to achieve, and then say it out loud, tell somebody, so that they can hold you accountable. So that's my advice.
I preach that one all the time. I often say that, we have to get the ideas out of our mind and down on paper, because we can't edit the idea while it's in our head, right? So you need to be able to write it down so that you can kind of work through, what you need to do in order for that to become real. So 100% loving that. Talya, thank you so very much. Blaze Nation, I want you to light up the comments right now and show some love. Talya is not feeling the greatest today, but she came here anyway. And she said, let's see what happens. And she gave you some gems here in the midst of all that. So we hope you feel better. We thank you so much for being here. Where can we find you on social? Where can we continue this convo?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Talya Parker. So LinkedIn.com/Talya Parker. I'm on Twitter, Talya Parker _CO. And also Instagram, TalyaParker.co. Twitter doesn't let me use the dot. So Instagram also, TalyaParker.co. So whichever platform works for you, I'm on those three.
All right. You getting a lot of love over here, girl.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Wow. I'm so humbled by it.
Well, thank you so very much. Blaze Nation, join us back here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8. Fridays, we go live at 8:30. Monday and Wednesdays, we're here bright and early at 8 a.m. I'm so grateful to you showing up this morning. As I've said in my recent lives, I want your help. I'm rebooting the podcast, getting this content that we've been doing in live streams out to the podcast. It's my goal to do this by Thanksgiving of this year, or U.S. Thanksgiving here in the third week of November. Hold me accountable. Help me to get this done, right? Check in on me. Shoot me a WhatsApp. Shoot me a DM. Let me know, that I need to stay focused on the goal here. And, let me know how we can help you. Let me know what content you're wanting. I'm beginning to plan out our 2022 campaign, and, looking for your input on how we can continue to improve and make this platform better. I have some big dreams and some big ideas in store that I'm putting down on paper and making sure, we bring to life. I'm also working on a cohort for January for our brand in demand, personal branding course and program. And so working on a campaign for a Black Friday all out, offering that will help more people come into this cohort. It's important that you build your personal brand as we move into 2022. Whether you're a leader or an entrepreneur, you need to be focused on that, right? Someone's Googling you, and the results they find are going to leave them more or less inclined to do business with you, to partner with you, or to hire you. So that said, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday at 8. Have a great day.